Have you ever given your heart to someone who seemed impossible to read? You tried everything. You paid attention to their words. You watched their body language. You asked direct questions. But every answer felt like smoke. Nothing solid. Nothing you could hold. They stayed calm while you stayed confused. And somewhere inside, you started doubting yourself. Maybe they just don't care. Maybe I imagined the connection. Maybe I am asking for too much. Stop right there. You are not asking for too much. You are asking the wrong question. The question is not, do they care? The question is, how does someone like this show care? Because avoidants do not love like other people. They do not express investment the way you expect. But that does not mean investment is absent. It means you have been looking for water in a desert while standing next to a hidden river. Here is what I am going to teach you today. By the end of this video, you will recognize the 5 quiet signs that an avoidant is emotionally invested in you. Not the loud signs, not the Hollywood signs, the real signs, the ones they cannot fake, the ones that reveal their heart even when their mouth stays silent. Stick with me until the end, because the final sign will shock you. It is the one most people mistake for distance, but it is actually the deepest form of closeness they know how to give. Let us begin with a truth that changes everything. Avoidants do not measure investment by time spent together. They measure it by how much of their inner world they accidentally reveal. You see, a normal person gives you attention. An avoidant gives you access. And access is far more valuable. Attention can be faked. Access cannot. Think about the last time you felt confused by an avoidant. Maybe they disappeared for 3 days, then came back like nothing happened. You thought they did not care. But what if disappearance was not rejection? What if it was exhaustion? Being close to someone drains their battery. Not because you are draining, because they are not used to feeling. And feeling takes energy they never built. So here is the first sign of hidden investment. They return. Not immediately, not perfectly, but they always come back. After silence, after distance, after a fight, they reappear. And they act casual. But casual is a mask. Underneath that mask is a person who realized life without you is worse than the fear you bring. They hate needing you, but they need you anyway. That is investment. Ugly investment, but real investment. Most people miss this. They see the silence and think, they forgot me. No, silence is not forgetting. Silence is hiding. And you cannot hide from something that matters. Let me give you a psychological concept called the proximity-seeking behavior. In attachment theory, even avoidants seek closeness when they feel safe. But safety for them does not mean constant contact. Safety means knowing you are there without demanding anything. When an avoidant keeps coming back to you even after pulling away, they are telling you something their lips cannot form. You are my safe place. Even when I run back to you. Now let us talk about the second sign. It is smaller, but it speaks volumes. They remember the little things. Not your birthday, not your anniversary. Those are big things. Big things feel like pressure. Avoidants freeze under pressure. But little things? They remember your coffee order. They remember a story you told about your childhood. They remember a fear you mentioned once, months ago. And then one day, out of nowhere, they avoid that fear. They do not mention it. They simply steer clear. That is not coincidence. That is them protecting you with information they stored. Why does this matter? Because avoidants have limited emotional bandwidth. They do not waste memory on people who mean nothing. Their brain filters out the unimportant. If they remember your small details, you have already passed a filter most people fail. That is investment. Quiet, unspoken, but deeply real. Here is your reward for watching this far. Most content online tells you to chase avoidance or leave them. Both are extremes. The truth is in the middle, and you are about to learn the middle path. The path where you stop guessing and start seeing. Keep watching, because the third sign is where things get interesting. The third sign is emotional leakage. Avoidants are experts at control. They control their face, their tone, their responses. But no one can control everything. Sometimes a feeling slips out, a crack in the armor. Maybe they get slightly jealous when you mention someone else. Not dramatic, not possessive, just a pause, a small shift in their voice, a A question they ask that seems too curious. That leakage is gold. It is their hidden investment bleeding through the walls. They do not want to feel jealous. They hate feeling jealous. Jealousy means you matter, and mattering is dangerous to someone who built their life on not needing. But the feeling comes anyway, and in that small crack, you see the truth. They are invested, deeply. They just cannot show it the way you want. Let me explain the psychology behind this. The human brain has a threat detection system. When someone you care about might be taken away, your brain sends alarm signals. Jealousy is that alarm. Avoidants feel the alarm just like everyone else. But unlike others, they hide it. They suppress it until they cannot. So when you see even a tiny flash of jealousy, you are not seeing insecurity. You are seeing attachment. Ugly attachment, but real attachment. Now the fourth sign. This one is painful to admit, but it is true. They test you, not because they are manipulative, because they are scared. They pull away to see if you chase. They go cold to see if you stay. They say something slightly hurtful to see if you forgive. These are not signs of a bad person. These are signs of a wounded person. They are checking if you are safe, if you will leave like everyone else, if you will prove their fear right. Here is what most people get wrong. When an avoidant tests you, they are not trying to hurt you. They are trying to protect themselves. And the very fact that they are testing means they are already invested. You do not test strangers. You test people you are afraid to lose. Think about that. The cold behavior, the hot and cold cycle, the sudden distance, all of it is fear wearing a costume. Underneath the costume is a person who already cares more than they want to admit. Does this mean you should accept mistreatment? Absolutely not. But understanding the difference between cruelty and fear changes how you respond. Cruelty enjoys your pain. Fear causes pain accidentally. One is a reason to leave. The other is a reason to set boundaries with compassion. Now let us move to the fifth sign. This one will surprise you. They give you solutions, not just sympathy. When you have a problem, most people say, "I am sorry, that must be hard." Avoidants who are not invested say nothing. They disappear. But avoidants who are invested, they give you practical help. They send you a link to fix the issue. They tell you exactly what to do. They do not hold your hand. They hand you a tool. And that feels cold to many people. But you must understand, for an avoidant, giving a solution is the highest form of love. They are not wired to sit in emotion with you. They are wired to remove the problem so you do not have to suffer. Think about it this way. A cat does not wag its tail like a dog. But that does not mean the cat feels nothing. It means the cat shows feeling differently. Avoidants are the cats of the emotional world. They show investment through action, not words. Through fixing, not feeling. Through doing, not talking. When they try to solve your problems, they are saying, "Your pain matters to me. I want it gone." That is investment, pure and simple. So far, we have covered 5 signs. They return after distance. They remember small details. They leak hidden emotions like jealousy. They test your loyalty. And they offer solutions instead of sympathy. But there is one more sign, the deepest one, the one that most people misinterpret as rejection. This is the reward I promised you. The 6th sign is strategic withdrawal. Sometimes an avoidant who is deeply invested will actually pull away more, not less. They see themselves caring too much. That scares them. So they create extra distance to regain control. They go silent for longer. They become colder than before. And you think, see, they never cared. But you would be wrong. That withdrawal is proof of how much they care. They are running from the intensity of their own feelings. And you cannot run from something small. You only run from something huge. This is the paradox of the avoidant heart. The more they invest, the more they flee. Not because the investment is fake, because the investment is real. And real is terrifying to someone who learned that love always leaves. So they leave first. Not to hurt you, to protect themselves from the pain they believe is coming. But here is the tragedy. Their leaving creates the very pain they feared. And one day, they sit alone and realize they caused their own worst nightmare. Why am I telling you this? Not to make you feel sorry for them, but to free you from taking their behavior personally. Their withdrawal is not a reflection of your worth. It is a reflection of their fear. And fear is a liar, a loud, convincing liar, but still a liar. Now let me ask you something important. How long have you been trying to prove your value to someone who is scared of their own value for you? That is the real question. You have been working so hard to be seen, but the problem is not that they do not see you. The problem is that seeing you forces them to see themselves, and they are not ready for that mirror. Here is the most motivational sentence in this entire section. You do not need to be loved loudly to be loved truly. Some of the deepest love comes in whispers, in pauses, in actions that look like nothing to the outside world. The question is not whether an avoidant can invest. The question is whether you can recognize investment when it does not wear the clothes you expected. In the next section, we will go deeper. We will talk about what to do when you see these signs, how to respond without losing yourself, how to set boundaries that protect your heart without pushing them away, and most importantly, how to decide if this kind of love is worth your time. You are not confused anymore. You are informed. And information is the beginning of every good decision. Stay with me. The best understanding is still ahead.